Hey, this is Stephanie Shea, and you're listening to Gundam at MAHQ.
Who shot you in the ass?
Who? That who would be you.
Me? I shot you?
Yeah.
I mean, I was shooting. Yeah, I did a lot of shooting. I mean, but I ain't saying I shot you in the ass. I mean, I ain't saying I didn't shoot you. But damn! Somebody shot you in the ass.
Tell me about it.
Alright everybody, welcome back to Gundam and MHQ. This is your host Neo, and joining me always is the Soul Bro.
Hey,
Where's
what's up
Chris?
Guys? Welcome.
Where's Chris?
Where's Chris?
Chris is not in this one. No.
Oh no.
He's preparing. Chris has got a super secret mission for MHQ, and he'll be back in a few weeks. He'll be absent from this episode, and he'll be absent from the next one, and he'll be returning back probably for our final episode of 2024.
Yeah.
So yeah. Chris, Soulbro, how's it going, man? And anything new in your life? Anything happen? Any changes in the world? I don't know. What's going on?
Apparently my mic is coming in low. Testing 1 2, guys. Let me check my volume here. Testing 1 2 1 2 testing. Yeah, it might be a little low. A little the water.
What about me? Am I there? Am I there? Breaker.
Breaker
According
to my readouts. Let me see if I can fix this other thing. Testing 1 2 1 2 3, guys. Let me know if I'm coming in hot.
It would not be Gundam without some technical difficulties.
No, sir, it would not be, man. But
is the record button on? Are we recording?
Okay, this sounded better now. Thank you guys. I appreciate the sound check. And I always tell people, please let me know if I sound like shit.
Yep.
I will do my best to fix it. I never take any insult from that. I rather not sound bad on the playback and sound bad in real time and fix that shit on the fly. So thank you guys for helping us out there. Props to you guys. But thank you for joining us today, man. It's been a hell of a week. We won't get into the details, but you guys know what happened. You guys know.
Never know. This could be the final run of Gundam. You never know.
Oh my god! You never know. You never know. But I will say this: we've been through a couple of administrations since we started this show. Starting with 08's election, and then
that was
12,
good.
16, 20, and now 2024. So this show has seen a breath of political changes in this country, and it's wild. Again, not getting into it because I know there's all sorts of feelings involved in that, but man, it's been a hell of a fucking week. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'll turn it back over to Neo.
All right. Well, I was looking at this is episode 303, and I was looking at Soul Bro's tagline while I was waiting to come on there. I was like, shoot, we should have waited till 2 more episodes because you said 305 for life. I'm like, whoa.
I saw that. There you go. I'm kind of mad. It's like if 2 episodes off from actually having that be perfect.
But that's actually the one that Chris would be back in. So,
it would be.
Chris is not here.
He listened to 305.
So we don't have to live under his rules. We can do what we want.
The Iron Fist is gone? No way.
The Iron Fist is gone. Yes.
Who knew?
Yes.
But Chris lives in the 305 at least. But
He does.
He
Well, no,
does.
I think he lives in the 945, right?
Oh shit!
Well, I think his number is 305, but I
Yeah.
think he lives in Broward, I think so. But
Man.
I digress. But yeah, this is episode 303 of Gundam and MHQ, and we are going to do the fourth installment, I guess, of what, the Bad Boys Cinematic Universe. Now I don't know. Is there actual title for this now? Because I never thought this would happen. I mean, I thought you couldn't go any better than Bad Boys 2, which is still the greatest action adventure movie of all time. Still is. And, but yeah, me and Sobra are going to sit back and we're going to talk about Bad Boys Ride or Die, which is the fourth installment. We talked about Bad Boys for Life, I think, 2 years ago? That was about 2 years ago, right?
It was 2020. It was 2020, so 4
years. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the actual time skip makes sense then in the movie. Oh, wow. Okay. I thought it was like sooner than that. I thought okay.
It was during the pandemic. Fine. I could definitely assure you that. It was
the pandemic lasted what
a long time, but it was like in the early portions of it because it dropped in digital like by the summer, and we talked about it shortly after it came out on digital. So. Yeah, it was actually during the time that Chris was still off the show. So
that's
I
right.
Want to say, like towards the very end of that period that came out. So we did that. And
so you see a pattern now.
Yeah.
Chris isn't on the show when we do Bad Boys. Yeah, that pandemic lasts forever because some dipshit didn't know that you could just if you wished it away, it wouldn't go away. Maybe you just make a decision, but I digress. But so, bro, anything as I saunter over to the Larry King Memorial News Studio with some Neo's listener submitted news. I know we have a big news thing before we'll do that. So
absolutely,
I do agree on that. But anything else before we go over there? And
well, as always, I encourage people to always visit MAHQ.net. That's Mecha Anime headquarters. That's of course the website that makes that where the magic happens. You'll find anime reviews. There's a spotlight on Macross, the original Macross, which just turned 40 years old, on the website. So make sure to go there, visit, check out the articles, check out the archives for all the mecha anime details that are on there when it comes to like mecha themselves. If you're a mecha head, it's a great place to go. And go there and make sure to favorite it and check back often. They've got spotlights on there. They've got links to podcasts affiliated with the show like Mechanista and G, and episodes that are loaded up there, and all sorts of fun stuff that you can find here. Of course, you can find our podcast at the bottom of the page right here. All the recent episodes are there and available for you to check out. And thank you guys for supporting the website. As a favor to me, if you have time, I'll also bookmark the website for the book I'm writing, which is vermilionroyale.com. Making some headway with it now, and hopefully by the beginning of next year, I'll start to have people beta test the reading of the book, so that way I can then move on to shopping around for talent agencies and all that stuff. So I've gotten some pretty good reviews. I've got people reading it right now, but I need more feedback. So if you guys want to check out the site and see what the book is about, by all means, it's vermilionroyale.com. Go there and check out all the different sections. And
so bro, when this thing gets made into the HBO the original series, and I just need a producer credit. That's all I want. Brother, I want to just see my name. I don't even have to be executive producer. I could be like one of those like associate assistant to the executive producer. You have like 95,000 producers. I don't even know what producers do. It's like. But I want that. So please promise that to me.
I wrote this specifically for animation. So if anything,
well then it goes to HBO Max or
there you go.
Max now.
You never know if I'm that lucky. But it's written like a television show where there's episodes. Like each book is comprised of like 3 episodes. And then or 2 episodes depending on how long they are. But they're like long, extensive stories of things that are going on in this universe that I've created, and I'm excited for people to check it out. If you're a mecha fan, there's a lot to be found there. If you're just an anime fan in general, there's a lot in this series that you'll enjoy and be able to spot out a lot of homages and whatnot. So I'm blessed for anybody who takes interest. And again, vermilionroyale.com, and if you can also find us on social media as well at mahq.net. on Blue Sky, also Gundam on Blue Sky as well, and Vermilion Royale on Blue Sky as well. So if you guys want to find us and follow us on those, and on Facebook you can find us too. So by all means, thank you for your support. It means a lot to me, and for those who've been listening to the show for a long time, I hope you guys really get a kick out of it. But anyway, on to the news, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, before we go into the other news, because I know we've got to catch up on that for the last couple episodes, but Solbro kind of hit me and Chris, I think, 2 days ago with some really sad news that about one of our devoted listeners, and so Solbro, you wanna go ahead and kind of hit that up, because I think it's somebody that we we'll all miss at this point. So
it's kind of a crazy story. On Sunday, I actually was reached out to by our longtime listener and contributor to the show, Rodimus76. For those that don't know, his real name is Rudy Navarette, and he actually supplied us. If you have seen the beginning of the show, or follow us on social media, you're probably very well familiar with our banner for the show, which is this picture right here that you're looking at on the screen, with, of course, Ryu, Dennis, and what's his name, Raul LaCruse from Gundam Seed.
No,
He put this. Oh, that's Mao. That's Neo. What am I saying? Jesus Christ! Of course, it's Neo. That makes sense. But anyway, he put this together and put all these pictures in the background because he's been a long time listener and knows all the references to the show. We went from having Lord King back there without the wreath because he was alive when the show started, and then after he passed, he put the wreath.
Even put that out there.
And the date. So I was like, yo, that's godlike, man. Rudy created this for us. He also contributed to the show quite a bit with wallpapers and backgrounds and images for particular episodes. And of course, his biggest contribution was the news. As you guys have heard his name throughout the years, Rodimus76. Well, he reached out to me on Sunday and told me that he would have to resign from his activities for the show for a while because he was battling a medical crisis. But it was a good prognosis that he had, and I was hopeful for him. I told him that, look, your life, your health is the most important thing. You focus on that. I'm praying for you, and I'll follow up on you too to see what's going on. So Monday rolls around, and I get a message from his wife, and she let me know his wife's name is MJ, and God bless her and the family as well, because he was a family man. He had a child, at least one child that I saw pictures. I believe a daughter, but she reached out and let us know that she had passed. That Rudy had passed, and I was crestfallen, man. I was beside myself. I won't get into his medical history or his the details of what he passed from. That's not for me to say, but he did. He passed away the very next day within 24 hours, and I went immediately let Chris and Neo know, and
it was nuts.
It was hard to believe, man. But yeah, Rodimus76 was a big part of the show. I adore him, and I'm definitely devastated by this. I do have here. Chris submitted a eulogy for him as well. Chris, of course, could not be here tonight, but he did submit this, and I'll read this. This is from Chris himself. He says, we are all connected in ways that we sometimes don't appreciate. A shared love for Gundam and all things Mecha brought us all together in the MAHQ community. I did not know Rudy personally, but he was an important part of the MAHQ community, and I feel the loss. He was such a regular part of Gundam. And it's going to be weird to never hear Neo announce that we have another new submission from Rodimus76. My thoughts are with his family, and I wish the best for them in overcoming this tragic and unexpected loss. Rudy was definitely a prime amongst us, and to him I say, to all are one. That is mad touching, man. Shout outs to Chris for this, and he pretty much summed it up. But Neo, any thoughts about Rudy and of course Rodimus76?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna have to second that. I mean, I have to second a lot of things that Chris said. I mean, just the banner alone. I love the picture of just us sitting around. I mean, if that was if we were fortunate enough to have it where this was our life and we could just do Gundam all the time, I could see this being the way it would be, because we'd probably be in a room where we'd have pictures of all the things that we love. And yeah, I mean, Chris hits it on there. I mean, it's a weird thing, these things that we do with social media and podcasts and stuff like that. And I mean, you know, we've been doing this for a really long time, and we appreciate all the people that have stuck by us and listened to us. And, you know, it's easy to say, oh, you're fans, but, you know, it is different, because every time you take the time out to sit back, especially since we've been doing the live shows for, I don't know, about last, like, what, 7 or 8 years or something like that. So it does hit it. And I mean, I always laugh, because I always knew he would come up with the stuff with the news. And you know, the thing about the news, yes, I mean, I'll be honest, it's always been the laughing joke. I'm lazy on that. And but I wasn't always, but I am. But I also thought it was a good way to engage, and he really took it to the next step. And I appreciate that, and it's going to be a huge loss. I mean, any time that you hear people that you've had a relationship with, whatever that relationship could be, and you have this unexpected thing. I mean, when Soulbro said this, I was out like running to Mary. I think it was like going to the Presto shop to get new pods for my coffee, and I'm like, the Soulbro's like, oh, you remember Rodimus? And it's like he passed like suddenly, and then he starts telling us what happened. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I will say this. Life is short. Enjoy it. I know it's tough sometimes.
Absolutely.
I know it's difficult. But enjoy what you have. Make sure that you get yourself checked up. I don't know the other stuff about this, but make sure you do. All of us need to be mindful of our health, not just physically, but mentally too. But, you know, just enjoy it. And, you know, yeah, it's tough. You hear things like this, and it's like, it really puts things in perspective. And, you know, my condolences, you know, my family's condolences go out to his wife, his daughter, his whole family. It's sad. It's sad when you have these situations that come up. And, you know, I think the best thing you can say about your life is if you can make a little bit of impact on other people's lives.
Yeah.
And I think he made it on ours, the three of us. And I think probably he's made it on some of the people. I see Yazi in the chat talking about this, and you know, that's what it's all about. And you definitely, I know it's tough, guys. I'll be honest with you. I mean, and I'm not going to get down the road on this, but I'm just going to say, when things are, you just have to look at what it is. And, you know, all of us one day will face this. And as long as you can sit there and say, I did the best that I did for myself and those people that are around me, you will always touch. You will live on. He will live on with us. He will live on as long as Gundam goes on, and beyond that, MAHQ and all that, and all of you guys. So, you know, that's Silver. Are they doing anything with like GoFundMe or anything like that, or is it just been a very different?
I did ask his wife if there's anything.
I know it's a very private thing. So
yeah. I asked her if there's anything I can do at the moment, but I'm gonna reach out again to see if they do have any kind of GoFundMe, because I didn't see any on her page or on his. I will say this: his legacy will live on through that banner, of course. But he also, over the last year, has sent me wikis and pictures and posters of different live action, mecha in live action, basically, because we toyed with the idea of having that as a subject on the show. And he went through all the research of finding every single live action thing that has mecha in it, and sent me things for all of that. It's in our chat.
Maybe,
so I've
maybe,
been going,
maybe we need to do something on one of our
I would say
social media pages or something, or something like that, because I mean, the fact that a person that doesn't know us, we never spoke with him. I mean, you probably spoke with him on. I mean, I didn't know him personally or anything like that. The fact that he would do this,
Yeah.
that's the thing that's very touching to me. It's like, we.
Well,
I mean, not to get weird on this and stuff,
yeah.
but the thing is like years ago when me and Soul Bro started this in his old apartment back there in Orlando, Florida, with our Radio Shack mics, USB mics, and like some old like stupid turntable tuner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things like you
Realistic.
probably still have that thing. I don't know. I don't know if
I
it's
think
like
it's in
in
my
your
closet
garage
somewhere.
or attic or something like that. But we never thought that it would be like this, and we did it because we felt it was just something we wanted to talk about it, and we wanted the people, see if there were like-minded people about it. And the fact that you have people devoted like this,
absolutely,
it's humbling.
It's a gift.
It's very, very humbling.
It's an absolute gift.
And I appreciate that. And I
and
will tell everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell everybody now. I mean, yes, sometimes we could be weird and stuff like that, and we're not always. We're a different type of podcast at times. We're not as we're not as disciplined, and we're not as always like other podcasts. But I think it doesn't mean that we don't care. And we appreciate the things that you do, Yazi, and a lot of these Mecha-san. I see all these people on here, and it's like, thank you for that. And it's tough, and it's one of those situations where you just have to, it puts us in perspective.
And the reason why I mentioned that is because I know we're going to talk about it eventually, and the fact that he went through all that research for me, that I didn't have to do that, is appreciated, and that means he's going to live on for at least a little while longer actively on the show because of that research. When I create the document,
he'll live on as long as the show exists.
As long as the show exists, he's never going to be forgotten by us. And Rudy, you're the absolute best. I've talked to him a few times. Whether it be on Discord or whatnot, he was out. He was actually part of the chat the very previous episode. So if you go back, you'll see him actually responding to the show and to the chat in episode 302. So man, you will be missed, and God bless you and your family. And I wish for them. I wish for them peace. And
it's a tough thing to lose somebody, and especially suddenly like that. And it's just
it broke my heart, especially as stressful as this week has been. It was no way to start it. Like, it was the same day that Quincy Jones was reported to have passed, so I was already reeling from that. And then to find out a personal friend also passed away, just made that all the more tough to get through that day. And and still, if anything, you were the best, brother. And I will absolutely miss you, and thank you for being a part of this. You will always be
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I mean, we appreciate that you guys stick with us and don't ever feel like you can't reach out. I think all of us are approachable, and all of us have our own different ways of doing things, but so if you guys reach out to us, you reach out to me, don't hesitate.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Especially if you got tough things going on, I get it. And exactly. And it's because the devotion that you do, you don't have to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to do what you're doing, and we appreciate that. So I don't
100%.
think we really articulate that much. I think we do, but we don't. We've never been this blunt about it. Mm-hmm. And so just remember that, guys. So but thank you, and thank you, Rudy. Everything you've done. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do now with the news. I mean, who's going to step up? I mean,
hey, MCT Dread.
Jesus.
MCT Dread's holding up the flag. Shout out to MCT
I'm pissed at Rudy.
Yeah.
Now I have to do work. I'm joking. I joke. But no, but it's but yeah, I mean,
and
that's
Yazi,
great.
of course, our regular submitters. aside, Yazi and MCT Dread and all the other people who were kind enough to actually put up articles, your help has also been very, very appreciated. Thank you so much for your contributions as well. And yeah, man.
And with that, we will go to some newest listener submitted news. And of course, the only way that we can start this off with, and my man, I just, since the last episode that we were on, 3 in a row, baby. 3 in a row. Rodimus 76.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just, singer-songwriter, Seiyu dies at, that's a tough one at age 28, but, hey, we'll go past that. But Netflix to stream Dragon Ball Daima anime in Asia, October 14th, globally October 18th. I haven't had a chance to take a look at that.
I haven't either, man. I need to get on that. I'm hearing it's pretty nicely animated, so looking forward to that. And
then, oh man, he gives me Sorbet News Alert. Yeah, he was always on the Sorbet News Alert, the Human Resistant League stuff that we. Oh my gosh, yes. Viral phenomenons. Baldy Toilet is getting a movie. Skibbity Toilet is getting a TV series produced by Michael Bay. Yeah, so what is this about? It's a
meme that's been all over the internet.
Okay, now I see it. Yeah. So okay, that's cool.
Something I'm looking forward to at all. I hate this meme. I hate it to death.
Yeah, it's very scary.
It's like, man, this is just a little off-putting, to say the least.
Off-putting. Yeah, I guess it's the way to kind of put it. And then Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft Begins brings adventure to life of City in new clip. Yeah, I guess there's lots of new Lara Croft stuff coming. I know, like on the video game consoles, there's been a bunch of the games have been re-released, but
and a Netflix series also recently.
Yeah, Netflix series. Actually, that's on there now too, right?
Yeah, it's.
I think it's on there. Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's voiced by Haley Atwell, who plays Agent Carter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. I love Haley Atwell.
I do too. Actually, I'm a big fan. So.
Big fan in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Oh man.
I remember all the talks me and Show would have to talk about this. Like, we say what Cap was the way he was.
Good Lord.
Banger.
No, every time I see her in interviews, she's so magnetic. I will say this. I didn't know she's fluent in French, which is super cool. But she also is a gamer as well, like legitimately so. I've heard her like getting in conversations with people about gaming. So she's got a lot of facets to her, man. I absolutely am charmed by her, and I want to watch this series once all the episodes are up. Just to see how well it is.
Very, very, very pretty. Even it's even for a white woman, because for some reason I just no, sorry. I have this thing with brown women, so
of course.
With the brown women, so.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, but she's got that, yeah. So I just remember that was show. Oh yeah, Agent Carter. But
absolutely.
Next here comes from NCT Dread, and this is Doc Harris, Dragon Ball Z's legendary English narrator, had died at age 76. This is back early in October. Yeah, we all know this guy.
Oh yeah, man, his voice is burned into our brains, man.
Oh my gosh,
burned into our brains for fucking real.
He's still in those DVDs that I have like packed in my freaking garage. Remember when they did the I had the original ones where you'd have the DVDs where it's like only 3 episodes, and for some reason somehow we thought that buying something for $25 or $30 in like 1990s money.
Oh yeah.
It didn't make any sense.
Here's the kicker. He's the voice of the narrator in the original Canadian dub of Dragon Ball Z. So when the show first started to get dubbed, he was in it.
Wow.
But I know him best from 2 shows. Number 1, Captain N and the Game Master. I know him from, and then
really?
I also I know him from the dub of Dragon Warrior, which is also has character designs from Akira
Wow.
Toriyama. He did the
Wow.
VO for the narrator in that show, which tripped me out when I'm watching Dragon Ball, the original Canadian dub for the original Dragon Ball series, and it's like, yo, this is the same narrator for Dragon Warrior. This is kind of wild. Of course, it's all done through Ocean. The voice
Yeah.
studio in Canada, they were doing even Dragon Warrior back in the early 90s. So there's a nice little line of continuity going from there to Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. And for those who live in Canada, Dragon Ball Z continued to be dubbed by Canadian voice actors, even though Funimation had, of course, their own voice actors that took over on American airwaves shortly in the middle of the Frieza saga. So we never really got to hear much of the Canadian voice actors after the middle of the Frieza saga started. So I've always wanted to go back and watch the Canadian dub because those are the voices I was originally used to. And yeah,
Well, I'll be honest with you. I always preferred the Canadian dub for some reason.
Yes!
I don't know why. I mean, yes, it was every so often. It's like, oh, they're Canadian. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, Google. And it's like, oh yeah, they're Canadian, and
especially the voices of Vegeta and Piccolo.
Yeah,
And those two were really like my favorite two voices.
yeah, they were really good.
And
yeah.
Krillin too. His voice was great, and Goku's voice was solid too. He had two different voice actors in the Canadian version, and I'm pretty sure they probably had more since then. But yeah, I really got to go back and check out the Canadian dub for this, man. It was the shit, and Doc Harris has been in my life a long time, so it was sad to see him.
I will say this. I will say this. All anime from this point on should be just dubbed by Canadians because I think it's better. Unfortunately, I'll probably get a huge tariff in it next year. So
Oh, no.
we'll just have to see what happens. But Rodimus 76 comes back here. Man, Rodimus 76. Gundam Breaker 4 update adds the Mighty Strike Freedom Gundam and the Gundam Calibarn.
Hell yeah.
In the in-game environment. Yeah, so yeah, Soulbro knows about that. Yes, he does. So, God damn it, what's going on here? Sorry. The scrolling feature on my computer is being really stupid right now.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's okay. Oh my God, really?
You having issues, huh? Oh man.
No, it's just this is the problem with Mac sometimes. It gets a little stupid. Next one here comes from Ron of 76. Steel Ball Run, Ultraman, and Spider-Man crossover among Viz's upcoming summer 2025 manga releases. Wow, that's cool.
That's super crazy. Like crossovers and like they're crossing over, or is it just
it seems like Viz has decided it's time to surprise manga fans again with a large batch of brand new titles for the summer 2025 release, including the long-awaited announcement of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7, Steel Ball Run, as well as some pleasant surprises as Rah Rah Rah, Cosmos, the weekly Shonen Jump favorites like New Exorcist and Kill Blue. Oh, I guess they're just talking about all the... Yeah, it's like a whole bunch of stuff coming out here. Bugle Call, Song of War. Oh, wow. Dr. Stone, Volume 27.
They actually have a manga of the book series my wife is collecting, Disney Twisted Wonderland. That I didn't realize they made a manga of this, so that's super interesting. I'll have to let her know she collects those books. So yeah, that's super funny. That's cool. Spy Family.
Oh. Rodimus 76 comes back with Robo Doc, the creation of RoboCop.
Yes.
There's a documentary of Robo. It's funny that this came up because the other night, I think I don't know, over the weekend, for some reason, some of these movies cycle on, and RoboCop. I hadn't watched RoboCop in forever. And like the original RoboCop, and I'm just sitting there because it's social commentary. It's applicable today, and I'm sitting there. I was like, wow, this is such a good movie, and it is really a good movie.
It's incredibly poignant for its genre and the time period.
I mean, for movies from the 80s. It doesn't look dated. It's weird. It's like I mean, some things are different, but because like people smoking, I mean, you just don't see that stuff. But I was like, wow, okay. But I guess there's a RoboDoc, the creation of Robotus, a 4-part 2023 docu-series of the making of RoboCop. Checks in at 4 hours and 58 minutes. Wow. I didn't know about this.
I've seen it actually.
Really?
Show acquired it, and I watched all 4 parts. It is incredible. If you're a fan,
Really?
yes, it's so good. They sat down with everybody who's still alive from the RoboCop production. We're talking Verhoeven as a director, and
Red
the
Foreman
writers,
was the bad guy.
and Red
Clarence
Foreman.
Boddicker, you're arrested.
They're all in the doc, and if you sit down and watch it, you're gonna get laughs throughout the whole thing. They talk about the production issues. They talk about how they approach the characters. They structure it absolutely nicely, and I was hooked from start to finish. We talked about this on the show, I think last episode or the episode before, just for a little bit. But there is a story about Peter Weller's actions on the set, and a story about Oreos. I will not ruin this shit for you. But when you find it, I think it's in the 4th episode, it talks about a particular instance with him and a grip or somebody on the set having to do with Oreos, and it is a priceless story.
Wow.
Please watch this. If you love the RoboCop 1987 movie, you will do yourself an absolute service by watching this. I don't know what streaming service it's on, because looking at this article, it doesn't say, but I've seen it, and it's worth every second of time. It's on Showtime?
I still have cable. I mean, I have all the streaming things, and I still own cable because I watch live sports, and I know YouTube TV, and don't tell me that. And I'm about to make that change, but because it's got the 4 things. But
according to this down here, it actually shows it's on Roku, Tubi, Pluto, Prime Video, Vudu, and other options as well. So,
but it's such a. I was sitting there, I'm like, holy fuck, this is such a good movie. Like I'm like, I forgot how good of a damn movie this is. And oh my god, it's like, goddamn, Red Foreman's the bad guy. It's like he's such a great villain.
Dick Jones, aka
Dick Jones,
Admiral. I forget his name on Next Gen, but Admiral, what's his name? Who also shows up in Prodigy as well. Jellicoe.
Yeah.
Admiral Jellicoe. Yeah.
Jellicoe, yeah.
There you go.
You're fired. Thank you.
Wild fucking times.
Prime Directive 4. I was like, it's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so yeah, it's a great movie, and yeah, unfortunately, it's got bad sequels. But you know,
does.
what are you gonna do? Robin 76 comes back.
Ooh.
Henry Cavill to star in Voltron for Amazon. So are they? They're finally going to do an Amazon. They're finally going to do Voltron.
They say. I've seen so much.
Yeah, this is like vaporware, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll believe it when I see a trailer, and only then. But I don't know how they're going to do this, but apparently it's happening.
So it's based on Go Lion.
Yeah, I would. That's the way to go. I wouldn't do it on 15 vehicles. It costs too much money. But
Jesus Christ! Yeah,
I don't even know they're going to do the traditional 5 characters. Are they going to have 5 new characters? I don't know where Cavill fits in, because I don't think he really is in the age range of characters. He might be Shiro, which Shiro should be a Japanese dude, but they might make 5 new characters, but they serve the same purpose basically, and he'll fit in somewhere. Maybe he'll be Lance. I don't know, but it'll be.
I think stuff like that you can't do movies. You have to get it on a. You have to get it on a streaming service, or you have to get it on like HBO or something. Like actually, one day, not this episode, but I actually have an idea for Gotcha Man. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I mean, put it to you this way, I'm like, this would be the best Gotcha Man ever, and if HBO did it, it'd be fucking amazing. Because I'm sorry, if they can sell fucking dragons, they can sell Gotcha Man.
They sure can, man. I would love to see that.
The only teaser I will say, Joe the Condor.
Mm-hmm.
You know who it'll be?
Who?
Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton? Joe the Condor?
Yeah, because he had the fucking Formula 1 car.
That's right. But
yes.
Hey, if he can act.
Yeah. DEI, man. DEI.
DEI. Yes.
Dale Earnhardt Incorporated.
Let's go.
That's all I care about. Yeah, there you go. So, Rodimus 76, UFO Robot Grandizer to Feast the Wolves is now available on the Switch. I don't have a Switch, so Solbro.
Oh, damn.
You tell me about this.
They made a game? Yo, word?
Yep.
I pulled up the video now just to see it. Yo, I'm gonna have to pick this up. Yo, this is so dope. Look how cool this looks. Oh shit. Yo, I'm
There
in.
you go.
Yo, that's cool as fuck. There's a lot of like super robot stuff coming out, man. There's a fighting game as well with SD versions of all the super robots, but this looks cool as hell. Man, cool. Yo,
Yeah,
damn.
thank you, Rodimus. Yes, I will go through all the Rodimus stories because I have to, and we want this. Dub Rodimus 76 comes back with Dub Volto's V Legacy hits Japanese theaters in October. So yeah, we're a little past that, but that's some cool stuff. Maybe eventually we can get that over, but I'm sure because it's an import, it'll get hit with tariffs. So. Japanese dub edition of GMA's Network's Volto's Legacy, the cinematic experience, will bring its event energy to Japan and it premieres on October 18th. Interesting. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, nice.
But all right. More new. Oh man, yeah. He talked about Doc Harris. We've already talked about that. Oh, MCT Dread Gundam Metaverse Project Hasunu Make Live airs in December. So, they're doing their own thing in the metaverse.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay.
Is this Hatsune Miku? Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at ESF, SF.
Namco Bandai announced the Gundam Metaverse Live Hatsune Miku collaboration event will be held in the next Gundam Metaverse project, or is scheduled to appear between December 4th through the 8th of 2024. Live, 45th anniversary of the Gundam series. Yeah, it's amazing, man. Gundam's so old, right? I mean, yeah, Jesus Christ.
Since 79.
Yeah. At least it's not as old as Star Wars.
It's off by 2 years. That's it.
And it's unfortunately better now. Well, it's fortunately better now.
Yeah.
The live event's going to feature Volocode and Viral Hatsune Miku performing alongside the Gundam mobile suit. Oh, wow. So I guess the RX-78 will make a thing. More details about the live performance will be revealed at a later date. Additionally, pre-registration campaign is underway. People can win various prizes, including Gunpla, keychains, T-shirts, and hats. Oh, wow. And the performance will be part of the Gundam Metaverse third project. Pre-registration for the third Metaverse will be open until the end of December 4th. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Originally teased in February 22, later revealed in March of that same year, the Metaverse project. Oh my gosh, I do remember this now. Holy crap. Gosh. Sometimes we would go through these things, it's like, will it ever happen? And it's like, oh, I guess it did. MCG Tread comes back. Aoria releases AI voices based on Japanese actors.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go on that. I have an issue with AI and on the voices. I kind of get it, but I mean, I hate to break it to Robert Downey Jr. It's like, yeah, you say that stuff, but they're going to take you to court, and when you're dead, nobody's going to care. They're still going to use your voice.
More than likely.
So, yeah,
it's a creep factor to it, but it's also a practical factor to it. But I love voice actors. I don't want to see them replaced by robots, man. I don't want to see that. You still can't get an emotive performance out of these computers as well as you can a human being. So to see them get replaced like that, I don't mind if you take like an older voice actor who used to do a younger role and you put their voice to a filter that makes him sound young again. Like if, say, for instance, the voice of Judo comes back to reprise his role in some special or something like that, and that's how you do it to overcome any kind of things in his voice. But his voice has to sound like it did with all the energy and whatnot. Otherwise, don't fucking do it. Just get another voice actor.
The technology's not to the point where you can replace them.
It's definitely not to the point that we saw in Bad Boys.
Yeah, it's still going to be robot voice.
Yeah.
Next one here from Rodimus 76, Alien Romulus gets a VHS release. Yes,
That's
he
so
says,
weird.
really? Are you serious? They actually really
crazy.
How can you actually? Is there actually things that Aliens Romulus is coming to VHS? Yes, you read that correctly.
Yeah.
On Saturday, 20 announced the latest entry. Does anybody have a VCR?
I do.
I haven't had one in like Do you really?
I actually have a working VCR. Yeah, it's just
Are
sitting
you
on mothballs right now.
serious?
I only last time I used it was in 2015 to transfer over Harris
I
Greenwood.
swear to God, I
Yeah.
don't think I've had a VCR in this century.
Yeah, I have one,
Like
and
I
I try
honestly
not to use
don't.
it. I try not to use it because I'm afraid the older these things get with all the moving parts in it, it's not going to work. But you can still buy them, and it's become a kind of it's just like vinyl has come back. People are going into VHS
Yeah, but
again
vinyl
too.
makes sense though.
Vinyl
It's
makes
only
sense,
like
and to
it's
some
only like a
degree,
couple moving parts.
yeah,
Like VHS, it's like that doesn't
Mhm.
make any sense.
to some degree, also Laserdisc makes sense just for the novelty of it. But VHS is like I don't get
Laser just didn't even
going
make
back to
sense back in
tapes.
the day.
Yeah,
But okay.
going back to tapes just doesn't make sense to me because there's such a loss over time that you'll get hiss and tracking and all that shit. But some people like the novelty because keep in mind, there's whole generations that grew up without VHS, so to them it's such a neat
Well,
thing. Like 8-track would be to me.
I get the vinyl thing because there is a difference between listening to
The
something on
sound, yeah.
vinyl than listening to on CD. I get that,
Absolutely, it's absolutely true.
but VHS was always bullshit.
Yeah.
Like even back in the day, it was bullshit. And when DVD came, it was like fuck VHS. I'm like,
Yes.
why would I even keep this? Because there's nothing nostalgia. Oh, I got to do the tracking, or it's gonna fucking eat itself.
Or you got to rewind
yeah.
the tape when you're done. You watch it.
Yeah,
which
like
is a pain in the ass.
I don't get this. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. But Rodimus76 comes back. Oh man, I'm sure Fred was all about this. Godzilla minus one is returning to theaters with all new footage. Oh shit. The most fucking scariest fucking Godzilla movie ever made. Holy shit, this thing still gives me creep. And you know what? Have you watched it in black and white? It's even worse in black and white. Dude.
I'm waiting to watch it in black and white.
No,
I need to.
that shit will make you shit your pants. Like I was shitting my pants when I watched it in the movie theater when it was in color, but I'm sitting there watching it in black and white. I'm like, holy fuck, what am I watching, dude? Yes. Oh, god damn it, it's the greatest. Actually, I saw something the other day where there's, I think it was like a variety or something. I guess Kevin Feige's been like, I don't know how much of this is true,
Right.
but supposedly he's been hitting up with the producers of Godzilla minus one, like trying to figure out like
What
how
they did to
what
get the
they
budget
did.
low? Hell yeah, dude.
And so he could do it for Marvel, and it's like,
Well, I mean, they were invited to Lucasfilm, so they're not too far off company-wise when it comes to contacts and connections. So to me, that makes sense. Yeah, I was Kevin Feige. I want to find out too because they lost the person who used to corral all that shit. They went and fired Victoria Alonso, so they probably have a new person corralling all the special effects. So why not take the opportunity to find out how these people did it? Such impressive special effects in Godzilla, and see if that may help to kind of bring down the cost of CG in their own movies because their movies get up to like 200, 300
I'll be honest with you. The thing about Godzilla minus one is not the special effects. It's the
story.
It's the story
and the performances.
So Kevin Feige, you might want to go on that aspect. I don't know what it is, but they're just saying. But people are talking. So the next thing here comes an NTT Dread. It looks like Marvel's Blade's been removed from the release calendar. Yeah, I know there's been lots of weird things with the Marvel calendar. I'll be honest with you. I've lost interest in Marvel. I know that Agatha, whatever it's called now, is like supposedly good.
It is actually. It's very good.
I just haven't gone to it. I'll eventually get to it.
Yeah,
but
there's no rush.
It's just, Marvel needs a rest. I think that's a good thing. Yazi 88 comes back.
Oh shit!
Gundam Requiem for Vengeance series ranks number 7 in Netflix weekly global English TV shows. Yes, and I will say this because we are Gundam. In the near, short-term, long-term future, we will talk about Requiem for Vengeance.
We certainly will.
So we will.
To be straight honest, I have not watched this yet. I'm waiting until closer to when we actually review it to watch it.
Kidding?
But yeah,
Did you watch it?
Did you already watch it?
I've already seen it, bro.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! All right, I
Yeah, I've already seen it.
How you
I've
felt
already
about it?
seen it.
But I've heard some mixed reviews, so I'm looking forward to seeing it for myself. And I may watch it this weekend.
Just a typical fucking Xeon, like bullshit film.
Is it like Xeon fetishist?
We gotta see if we gotta feel bad for the fucking the motherfuckers that started the whole fucking war.
Oh man.
No, it's a show, and it's there, and it's we'll talk about it in the sometime near future. But
well, props to Yazzie. He says it's only 6 episodes, 30 minutes apiece.
Yeah, it's only 6. I that's what I'm saying. I'm like, really, it's gonna take, and they're like 22-minute episodes. Like, not, I don't even know what I don't like really. It's like you can watch it like an afternoon if you needed to.
Sure,
to be honest with you.
I know when I sit down and watch TV, usually I'm watching it with my wife. So unless she wants to watch this with me, usually I have to kind of politic my time. But she's going to be going to do things this weekend, so maybe I'll sit down and watch it this weekend just to get a taste of it. And Mekasan says it's not heavy on the Xeon apology crap. Still, they have the victim mentality. Oh shit. Well,
it is, and the ending is kind of stupid, but. We'll get to that. We need Chris here. Yeah, we definitely do. Random 76. Prey director meets a secret Predator movie in addition to 2022 Badlands. Yeah, I've heard about this. I haven't seen Prey, but I actually do want to watch that because supposedly that's like a really badass Predator movie. Some people say it's better than the fucking first Predator movie.
Yeah, Prey's got nothing but good reviews, and I've put it on the back burner to watch. Maybe we should review it for the show sometime down the road. But
I'm cool with that because
I'm cool with that too.
Yeah. So Robert Susie comes back with veteran anime actor leaves serious accusations against Crunchyroll. What do you guys say here? Following Crunchyroll's official address of the situation, Watt said he has not reached out to any party. David Watt, a beloved anime actor, has accused Crunchyroll of mail tampering.
I saw this. Yeah. Go ahead. I saw what this about.
Reach out to an angry party. Still no reply. I don't understand with this. When it comes to, I'm not understanding what's going on here. So
what happened was because I saw it unfold on Twitter. He was sent a package with a bunch of anime related stuff. I think it actually was he's gay in real life, and also the stuff they sent him was, I believe, something that was related to a yaoi manga or anime. And when they got the package at Crunchyroll, the people there thought it was a package of free stuff that they went and opened up the package and they distributed to just randomly to anybody who wanted the stuff that was in it. But it was actually sent for him specifically, and because of that, he's now suing them for mail tampering. Because I guess somewhere in the package it probably had his name on it, and that was just ignored, and they just decided to give away the shit that he was sent specifically for him. So I don't know what happened or wrong, but I saw the package. They put pictures up with the package opened up on Twitter because that's how I got exposed to this. And yeah, man, it's not a good scene. I'm sorry for him. They shouldn't have given away his shit like that. But hopefully people will give that.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
Don't give away people's shit. Rider 76 comes back. Gundam movie at Legendary Tap. Sweet Tooth showrunner Jim Mickle to direct. Okay.
Yeah, the project moved from Netflix. It moved from Netflix. Remember, if you recall, they had a director lined up and whatnot. But the rumor is that the performance of the Netflix show that just dropped out kind of gave them cold feet on doing a whole live action movie. So now they've moved it to another studio or whatnot. But yeah, that's wild. But Sweet Tooth, I heard, was a good show. So yeah, I don't know.
Rodman 76 comes back. Mobile Suit Gundam announces ALC Encounter new anime project. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Mobile Suit Gundam has announced a new project called ALC Encounter, set to premiere November 24th.
Oh,
being shown at the Laporte Fukuyama shopping mall in Japan, as well as projection. As a wall projection, screens will take place every day. So, oh wow, more Gundam.
Is this going to be a full-on series? It's starting in April, so it looks like.
Well, I think if you don't like woke stuff or DEI, you may not like this because it's two women
Oh, yeah, holding each
hugging
other
each other
close. Oh
in
no.
front of a Gundam. So
Oh shit.
yeah, if you're a piece of shit person from like the US, you probably won't like this.
Yo!
So but
Well,
yeah,
look at this one picture. There's I see Char and Amuro in this one shot right here. I think
yeah.
that's definitely Amuro, but I don't know if this guy's Char or not. He's holding a gun to the back of his head, so I'm imagining that's
Uh,
Char.
oh man. And we'll finish up. No more from Rodham76. And
Oh,
thank you,
nice.
Rodham76, for all those. And we'll just finish up the last with the MCT Dread, and we'll get into Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Oh shit.
Next one here is Gundam Seed Freedom Zero prequel announced. So it looks like, yeah, there's going to be a prequel. So
Oh,
on
prequel.
Gundam Seed Freedom Zero. So, yeah, I guess we waited 20 years, and now it's just gonna be we're just gonna be shitting out seed for the rest of it. So, I mean that's cool. We'll love it. But and the last one here, MCT Dread, a new Godzilla movies in the works. Takahashi Yamazaki, Godzilla -1, will be in charge of direction. Yeah, I've seen those pictures of this, and
Ooh,
so that's the next thing, right? Godzilla -1. It looks like.
man.
So
Well, I mean, that was the previous movie, the current movie, but they're making a sequel to that.
yeah,
Hopefully.
I've seen some stills of -1, and I don't, you never know with the internet. You don't know if they're real or not, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things. So, but so yeah, that's it. This episode of the news has been definitely dedicated to our friend Rudy and Rodimus76. So thank you, bro. If you can send some send some articles from heaven. Take them. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
this was dedicated to you, bro. Thank you
Absolutely.
for everything.
Thank you,
So
man. Thank you for your service
yeah.
for our show. It's much appreciated.
Thank you on that. So yes, we will hit our thing tonight, which is the fourth installment. I guess it's the Bad Boys Cinematic Universe. I'm trying to look online what it is. It doesn't, for some reason, it says the Bad Boys film series. So it's like nobody's really given it. I'm surprised they just haven't said it's the Cinematic Universe, but we'll call it that.
It becomes that once they get a spinoff. Then you can call it Cinematic Universe.
Is it really? I
Yeah,
mean,
once we get a
they've
spinoff
got 4 movies so far.
Yeah.
So okay, okay.
I mean, Die Hard has 5 movies. I wouldn't call that a cinematic universe yet. It's just a straight line. So
I guess that's true. Yeah.
But it could eventually be that. I mean, they have plenty of potential, as we'll talk about in this review. There's plenty of potential of possible spinoffs in the future. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is the 4th installment of the Bad Boys film series, which is Bad Boys Ride or Die, released earlier this year, and it's basically a short synopsis here. We are 4 years after Bad Boys for Life, and the fallout that came out of that, and we start out, and guess who's getting married? Never thought it would happen.
Never thought.
Mike Lowry's getting to his therapist, but not the one therapist that he had in Bad Boys 2, but his physical therapist. So a different, and of course she's got like a British accent, so blah blah blah, and so we get that whole dynamic, and Mike's getting married and has his wedding. They're at the reception, and because he's had a lifestyle of just craziness and not eating well, Marcus just falls over and has a heart attack while he's dancing on the reception floor. And from that point on, he goes there. He has a vision of Captain Howard, who was killed in the prior movie, actually killed by Will's kind of, his baby
Strange
mama's son.
Yeah,
his estranged son. And so he has a vision. Marcus has a vision of Captain Howard, and before we know it, he's telling him to live on. Marcus wakes up, thinks he's invincible at this point. So we get this weird dynamic of all of a sudden Mike is worried about how his life is going to be because now he's married, and Marcus is because he's, well, he says in this that I've come back from the dead. I died and now I've come back. So he thinks he's invincible. In the meantime, we see that there's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on at Miami PD there. Of course, where there's cops, there's dirty cops. And we find out there's really dirty cops. And the dirty cops are going to frame our friend Captain Howard. Now that he's dead, that he was some dirty bastard with the cartels and all this stuff, because we soon find out that, before Captain Howard died, he was investigating all these dirty cops that have infiltrated Miami PD. So we go into a whole thing here where basically we get Mike and Marcus negotiate a thing to get Mike's son Armando out because he knows who the dirty cops are because he worked with the cartel, as we know from the prior movie. Then kind of things happen. They get lost while they're being transported because Mike's like, we need to get him. We need to make sure he's safe. And of course, the dirty cops intervene. They get lost. Lots of shooting. We find out the woman that Mike was with in the previous movie now is with like this evil, like kind of evil DA guy, and he's part of it. And
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic, pretty much, yeah. And long story short, we get lots of shooting, lots of killings. We, of course, Mike and them are actually able to clear at the end, able to get the information, clear Captain Howard's name. Who Captain Howard's daughter was actually a U.S. Marshal who's following them, thinking that everything is going wrong. We're able to get that. Armando, because of what he does, he saves Captain Howard's granddaughter, and they make the thing. He's able to leave, and so they're able to do that, and then they move back on, and they're back with their wives and their families, and that's pretty much it. So bro, I guess we could kind of go into some of the things that we liked, some of the things that kind of stood out, and what you got there. So,
man, just watched this movie today. Neo and I were talking before the show and wondering because we put 2 on the pedestal. But 3 was really good. All the Bad Boy movies have been fantastic. You say what you will
even
about
one.
Even one
one in its low budget glory, because it is it is a very low budget movie. It's a very low budget movie, but it's a good movie.
The chemistry between Will and Martin in that film is so good that you go back to watching it all the time because of that shit. There's their interactions, and they're at the top of their sitcom game at the time. They were on like 2 competing different sitcoms at the time, so it's cool to see them both in the same movie. To see their like careers pop off because of that. But then part 2 was just like a spectacle. Some people don't like it, but most people do, and it's fantastic. It's got 4 acts, as Neo always says. It's not a 3-act movie. That movie, you if you watch it,
it is the only movie that has 4 acts, and the only reason why it has a 4th act is because they had a budget, and somehow I believe this. If we ever had Sir Bay on Gundam, I'd sit down and talk to him and say, like, look, we know somehow you were able to save a lot of money for the movie, and then you said, fuck it, we got all this other extra money and a bunch of other shit we can blow up, so let's just have a 4th act. And that's what it became, and that's became the magnum opus of the, which I will say is the greatest action adventure movie of all time.
Yeah, I have a hard time.
Bad Boys 2.
Personally, I have a hard time ranking this either put this as the best Michael Bay movie or The Rock, because I do love The Rock. There's a lot about The Rock I enjoy, but I would say that this Bad Boys 2 has the edge above that. But then 3 was a great return to the franchise.
It
You know,
was.
it had been like well over 10
Exceeded
years.
expectations.
Yeah,
It
because
exceeded expectations.
I think 2 came
Yeah.
out in '04. So then
Oh
it,
three.
it '03. So then
Oh
it was.
three. Because if you watch this movie,
Mhm.
it is referenced in this because they
Yes.
actually talk about the ecstasy heist. And they're like,
Yeah.
wait, when did that happen? So, and that's the thing that actually gets this movie is there's a lot of homages
And
to the
callbacks.
prior, especially to Bad Boys 2.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then we get, of course, Bad Boys for Life in 2020. And that was our 2021. I have to go back and look. But we get that one. And Neo and I, of course, we reviewed it on the show. You guys can go back and watch that episode back from the year 2021, I believe. But then this finally came out this year. And I actually was looking forward to it. I didn't get the chance to see it in the theaters. But finally sitting down here and watching it at home, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a
Hmm.
nice return to form for both of them. One of the big things about this movie that I really enjoyed was Martin Lawrence's his character, Marcus Burnett, did not play exactly the same as he always does, where he's like afraid of everything. He was finally like the one that was putting himself out there and taking on all the danger. It was just a weird place, but Martin fell into that role expertly, and he was such a fool in this film, but he was fantastic in every scene in this film. To me, he's actually the MVP of the movie, to be honest with you.
Well, it's interesting that you say that
Mhm.
because there's a complete flip.
Yes,
Because in all the other three Bad Boys movies,
it's
Mike was always
Mr. Invincible.
devil may care.
Yes.
I'm going to do whatever I need to do. But this is the one where at the beginning, he's finally getting settled down.
Hmm.
And we see a point when one of the first action sequence happens where he actually freezes up.
Yeah, he get panic attack.
He would not shoot. He has a panic attack.
Yep.
And because of this thing with Marcus and, he feels like he's invincible now, the roles flip. And I think that is a great point in this because it's like, how are you going to make a fourth movie of this interesting? And that was a good point of swapping it. So
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes down to it, I love the switch in the dynamic between those two characters, but they still carried the chemistry throughout this whole film. Finding a way to involve Mike's son in this as well was a smooth move, with Armando being a part of the action in this film. One of the best sequences in this film is the scene on the not the plane but the helicopter, the chopper that they are taking to get from one place to
oh
the
yeah.
next, and how they have to like stop the chopper from crashing. But before they do that, they have to free Marcus's son from the cage that he's in, and they of course they do it in the nick of time, and then they
Mike's.
manage to yeah, exactly Mike's son Armando. They manage to free him in the nick of time, and then he ends up helping to crash land the helicopter in the Everglades. It looks like, and then of course they're on the run. And then this movie was thoroughly entertaining from the very beginning to finish. I felt Marcus's pain because after having my own health episodes this year, I've had to completely change my diet. So I crave so much shit all the time that I
Oh,
can't have anymore. I can't even have too much salt anymore for reasons. So to see Marcus covet those chips, oh my
the
god!
the scene and when
In the art gallery,
when they're when they're in the art gallery and they blow up the
the
jelly
jelly
beans and the
beans.
one jelly bean that goes it's the licorice one. He's like, oh,
Yes.
it's the licorice one, and then he gets the Kool-Aid and he goes crazy and kills all those dudes. It's like, oh man, this is just crazy. Yeah,
He marks out
that's some good
off
stuff
of some
there.
sugar, man. It's so good. But yeah, it's very thoughtful the way they set up a lot of the scenes. And it's Bad Boys. It's gonna be ridiculous with the action and the comedy and how it's implemented into the movie.
Yeah,
But it feels genuine. And it also feels of the time as well. Watching this movie and of course the supernatural aspect of this film too, which is a smart way of involving Joey Pants into the storyline as well, whether it be through footage
yeah,
or encountering him in the afterlife, was a neat thing. Because I thought they killed off his character way too quickly in 3. I was upset by it, but the movie kept going and it was still compelling. But they found a clever way to bring him back in this, so I was really appreciative of that. One of the other things that I really loved about this movie, and I don't know if a lot of you guys are familiar with this actress, but I'm a big fan of Ray Seahorn. She plays his daughter in this. She played let me see
Captain
here.
Howard's daughter.
Yeah, Captain Howard's daughter. Yeah, and she I'm familiar with her because she was one of the main characters on Better Call Saul. She played Kim Wexler, who's like one of the most compelling characters in that show. I think she actually got robbed of an Emmy multiple times because her performance was just incredible on that series. So to see her in this movie was a nice addition that I did not expect. It was one of the things about this movie I had no idea she was in it. And she has this intensity to her that you can see that she brings to her role in this film. And all the scenes that I saw her in this film, she really sold her character. We had talked about a possible spin-offs for this movie, and there's two characters in this movie that I think stand out besides her, and that's of course Reggie, which we'll talk about in a minute, but also Mike's son Armando as well. And a lot of the internet has been saying that Armando and Reggie should have a new generation of Bad Boys movies as well between the two of them. But I think their handlers should be Ray Seahorn's character, which would be super cool if they could make that happen. So to see her kind of manage those two and be their boss like Joey Pants was the original Bad Boys' boss would be kind of neat if they ever decide to go and do that in the future. Maybe they'll establish it in the next one. But speaking of Reggie, though, there's a sequence in this movie that steals the show. Although Marcus or Martin is my MVP for this film, there's a slight subset of MVP in this film that I gotta give to Reggie, because Reggie's been the punching bag in this series since Bad Boys 2, since his introduction, and he's such a fun character. He used to be the boy who came to date Marcus's daughter, and of course he eventually marries her, and then he joins the military and becomes pretty much a badass. You think he's just still that goofy kid that we met in part 2, and then you find out he's not. He just doesn't play Call of Duty in video games. He plays that shit in real life. There's a sequence in this movie where he has to defend Marcus's house and save his wife and his mother as well. A wife and his mother-in-law in the sequence, and this TAC team runs into the house to try to kill everybody in it, and instead he just grabs his gun and gets to work, and he John Wicks all 15 dudes, and it's an amazing sequence to watch, and it's shot through stationary cameras, so you're watching it as if you're watching a closed circuit film, which is really cool. I thought it was really clever, and it was a nice turn of events, and it made that whole character completely different to us now. Like, you can see that his character has had progression through the series, and it makes the ending even funnier when you see the ending at the very of course the closing scene at the end of the film. But when it comes to the villain, I like the villain, but I one of the things I always rate action movies on is how charismatic or memorable the villain is. I think that some movie series that have this issue where you don't have too many memorable villains is the Mission Impossible films. The only villain I can remember from that series, besides the one in the first movie, is probably Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in the third one, because he just played that character expertly. But I kind of grade all other generic action movie villains on the scale of Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance in Mission Impossible 3. So this guy in this movie, I recognize him from The Last Ship, a show that's on TNT about a naval ship in the post-apocalypse. But I just saw this guy as he didn't really have a lot of scenes to allow us to have any kind of knowledge of his character besides his opening scene, which was pretty compelling, where he convinces that money guy to transfer money into the captain's account, and then he pretty much kills him, calls his wife to establish a motive before killing him, and then shoots the dude with his woman, his side piece, shooting him with the gun and then shooting her, which was like just a scary scene overall. It's a good introduction to the character, but after that, it didn't really give me much else besides action sequences with his character, and then of course him going out at the end of the film. But he made for a compelling villain. It's just I just wish we got to know more about him. But yeah, overall, man, I love the flow of the film. A lot of the comedy worked for me in the movie. The set pieces were great. You got the one scene with the gun being tossed around. I thought that was brilliant the way they handled that shit. First person, the pretty much the first person scene. If you watch the behind the scenes of that scene, it's pretty cool. Both Martin and Will have cameras strapped to them, and you can see the movie's kind of like on a gimbal, the gun itself. So when they move the gun around, the camera pretty much follows the gun, and it was just slick how they made that all work and choreographed the scene in general. So a lot of inventive set pieces in this, and of course a lot of the Michael Bay trademarks also in this movie. Even though it's not directed by Michael Bay, it's directed by the two gentlemen who directed the previous movie, Adil and Bilal. They also directed episodes of Miss Marvel as well. So if you watch that show, you might be familiar with some of the stuff they did for that. But we got the 360 spin, of course, several times in the movie. Shit just got real.
Oh, many times.
Many times. And yeah, I had a blast watching this movie, man. I didn't think it was bland. It didn't lose my attention at all. It was good to see. I'm not crazy about DJ Khaled, but it was cool seeing his character come back to continue his beef with the detectives, and then Tiffany Haddish's cameo. But she's Tiffany Haddish, so not everybody's crazy about her. I'm okay with her. I don't have any really issues with her. But it was interesting seeing her in this movie too. But yeah, inventive, action packed, and just had a good flow. And they changed up the formula in this movie. And I hadn't seen a buddy cop movie in a while now, so it was nice to return to the genre in this way. My only negative really is the villain, and that's just it didn't have a lot of impact. It just him and his crew seemed generic. It didn't have the impact that the Bruja had in movie 3. The Bruja in movie 3 had some real menace to her, and I enjoyed her in that. So I would say she might be my favorite villain in the franchise, but maybe the villain from 2 is
Johnny Tapia.
Yeah, Johnny Cap. Yeah, I would say that it might be a tie between the two of them, but I like the Bruja quite a bit in the third movie, and I would say this guy's kind of a notch or two below them when it comes to villains, but. Neil, I'm gonna toss it to you, man. What are your thoughts? Oh, you there? Hello. Well, your mic went off because I can't hear you. Well, shit. I just heard him. What happened to him? Neo, break a 1-9, break a 1-9. All right, well, I'll keep talking. Let me see here. Let's see what the chat's saying. Oh, Neo, you there? I heard you for a second.
You hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
You hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, there's an issue going on. I have to restart my computer for some reason.
Oh, no worries.
So, yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, I think in terms of the villain, yeah, he's generic. I mean, that's definitely the problem with this villain. So, other than that, I mean, I think it's an entertaining movie. It's definitely good to see the flip of the roles, because that's definitely what we see here. We see the flip of the roles when it comes to Marcus and when it comes to Mike, and the fact that Mike was always Devil May Cry, and Devil May Care.
He's Dante.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't care, but we see in this where he finally settles down. He's finally thinking about it, and the fact that Marcus, I mean, from even pretty much from Bad Boys 2, he just didn't want to deal with all this stuff, and it's funny. But then at the end, when you get the ultimate, the final scene there where Mike has to save his wife from the bad guy, and
he finally shoots Marcus again, which
Yeah.
is something, which is
Yes.
the homage to Bad Boys 2.
Hell yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think that was a good thing. I think the greatest thing about this movie is like it really does put the whole thing of Bad Boys 2, and it really does give the homage of like Bad Boys 2 is such a great movie, and it's like because there's a lot of stuff that's in there, and you're like sitting there going, "Oh wow!" I mean, it's so much. They even bring up the whole scene of I guess like the first real action point of Bad Boys 2 when they're after what's her face gets the money, and then they have the whole thing with the Jamaican gang and stuff.
Oh
I mean, the
yeah.
only thing that would have made it better is if they just had the whole scene as like who in my house, and it's like the devil, the devil is not welcome here. I mean, that would have been
Yes. I wish they ran that back. Yes. That shit
But
was great.
I think it was actually a great way of just it's a merging of what you started seeing in the previous film and with the new characters and all that. But I think it does give you kind of a like almost like a rope-a-dope in some ways because you sit there and like I mean I'll be honest with you, I thought that we were gonna have it felt at one point that you were going to have Reggie. It was like, okay, Reggie and Armando are going to be the heir apparents to the Bad Boys.
Yeah.
And you don't get that at the end. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually like that they didn't do that. And
It's definitely
Oh, we lost him. He's gonna jump back in. We'll see. He's just. It looks like his mic switched back from his phone back to his computer. So just waiting to see him drop back in. Hopefully, either that or he just got booted out on both ends. Who knows? But looking here at the chat here, while we wait for him to come back. Let's see. Oh, Neil, you're back. I see you. Can you say something? Oh, well, he was here. Now he's back. Neil, say something. Go ahead.
yeah. So I think the good thing about this is, you know, the prior movie, I felt that was going to be a good send off. So when I knew they were doing this movie, I was like, I didn't know what to go in with it, and you know, because you have to be realistic. I mean, these guys are old now.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's established in this movie. Bad Boys 2 was 2003. Yep. I mean, they bring it up in this, and they don't even remember what happened. It's like one of the biggest things that's ever happened in their lives, according to what we've seen as viewers. And they're like, "Oh, wait, that was the ecstasy stuff," and it's like they couldn't even remember who the freaking villain was. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a typical, you know, cop corruption type of story. So, I mean, in that way, it wasn't anything new. I do agree with you. That guy, yeah. I mean, the villain, he was just kind of nameless villain. In terms of the Bad Boys villains, I mean, even when it came to Mike's girlfriend in the prior movie, and then Johnny Tapia in 2, and then the other, I can't even remember who it was in 1. I mean, one's like one. Yeah, it's so far back, and it's like you just forget about that movie because 2 exists. So it's like, why do you need to watch that movie? But it's just yeah, that's the only downside of it, I think. I mean, it's got everything in there. It's it feels like a Bad Boys movie. I actually feel like it feels like more of a Bad Boys movie than the third movie did.
Oh wow,
the third movie is good. Yeah, I feel like I just felt like there was so much of the rotating camera and all that. I mean, and of course, like you said, the whole Reggie thing. It's like, wait, oh shit, they're finally going to give Reggie his due, and they're just sitting there watching him while they're watching the CCTV, and they're like, oh my god. I mean, the shit with Marcus is like, oh fuck, is he? Oh. And then, like you said, the classic thing at the end where they have this, you know, everything's said and done. They're at a public park. They're going to do this whole thing about barbecuing. And Marcus and Mike have this whole thing about, Marcus is like, you can't barbecue on my thing, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, Reggie asked for permission, and then Marcus is like, did kill 15 guys in my house.
Yes.
Family. It's like, you know what? You can grill. We'll take care of the other stuff. So yeah, I think, I mean, it was a really enjoyable movie. I think what made it really good too was it was a 2-hour movie. It was like probably a few minutes under 2 hours. And I think it had to be that way because the thing about Bad Boys is it's ridiculous. I mean, it is a ridiculous escape from reality thing. And I mean, Bad Boys 2 is its own thing because it's like a 2.5-hour opus, but it's also a movie with 4 acts. Yeah. And it pulls it off. And no other movies really pulled it off like that. But I think, you know, it's weird because you watch the end of this movie and you're like, is this the end? Are they going to go forward? I mean, I think it keeps it open. I think that's the thing I like about it is like, okay, they kind of keep it open because even the third movie, it felt like that was kind of the end.
Yeah.
Because it's like the whole thing was like
it.
Marcus was going to retire and he kind of came out of retirement. And I mean, that whole thing of him being in the minivan is like, but you're right. His character was he was a standout character in this movie. Like,
absolutely.
Martin Lawrence's performance, I mean, he was classic. This was classic Bad Boys 2, Bad Boys 1, Martin Lawrence. I mean, it was good to see Captain Howard back, Joey Pants. It's like, because you're right. It did feel like that is the downside of this third movie. It's like when he gets killed, it does seem like the steam comes out because in a lot of ways, he's what kept it kind of going. And even in this movie, you start seeing people die. I mean, Fletcher dies, the hacker guy. Yeah, and then right. Who else died? There was somebody that died before him, and you're like, holy shit, they're just offing all the freaking legacy. That's when they started doing that, I was like, oh, this is when they're going to do the handoff. And then they give you that psych. It's like, but yeah, I mean, I think for what it is, it's a good movie. I think, I don't know. Silver, you have anything else on it? Any downsides outside of the villain?
Not really. I still think that the franchise itself has still room to move.
I think it does. Yeah.
This one. I mean, they're not that they're getting up there in age. I mean, I don't know how much how old Martin is. Cause I know Martin is older than Will, but I know Will is pushing 60. He's not at 60 yet, but he's close.
Oh, he's pudgy in this one, and he's got a lot of spray hair in this one.
He does, right?
He's got the LeBron spray hair. I was like, wait a second, like.
it's his age is starting to show. But they still got it chemistry wise, and you know, Will is still an action star to a huge degree. You know, I've had my issues with Will, especially after the slap, but it's still nice to see him in this movie, and it's nice to see him and Martin back together. It's nice to see Martin, period, because Martin has been through some rough shit over the last couple of years, and to see him be on a return to doing movies again and being a respected comedian. And people acknowledging his previous work and other movies, especially his TV show Martin as well. I remember him from What's Happening Now, the spinoff of What's Happening back in the late 80s, early 90s. That was where he got his start in television. And seeing him on that show with a bunch of other up-and-coming actors was super cool. And then he got his own sitcom, and then watching his comedy career to moving into movies such as Bad Boys and other films that he's done. Of course, Yazzie would always bring up Black Knight because that's his favorite. But
well, I think though too. I think in a weird way, they're able to do such a good job of like knowing what Bad Boys is. Like, it in something like this, it's very difficult sometimes to keep it serious. Not necessarily keep it serious, but keep it like where it doesn't get too stupid. Yeah. Like that, I think that's the best thing about these movies is, yes, they're just a big dumb action film, and if you really want to nitpick and stuff, it's like, how did they survive this stuff? But it's not too ridiculous, and it's just fun. I think that's the big thing of all these movies. It's always been fun. I mean, the third movie was probably, story-wise, was the most darkest movie.
Yeah, I would say
because it was much darker. I mean, this one was just, it was just a classic, like, reversal. The cops are getting older, and it was predictable. I mean, it's stuff we've always seen before. Okay, now the hothead guy has got stuff to worry about. It wasn't there, but it was still fun. I think that's where it was like. It wasn't trying to be something it wasn't, and it wasn't it didn't cross that line of being stupid or ridiculous. I think that's the bigger thing.
Yeah, it towed the line pretty nicely, I would say. And it fits right in. Like, all four of these movies feel consistent. Even with the absence of Michael Bay, I think that Adil and Bilal have done an incredible job of keeping the tone and keeping the flow and the pace of action throughout this series. I'm really excited for them. I feel bad for them because they actually directed that Catwoman movie that Warner Brothers threw in the trash for a tax break. They did that. They finished about 90% of it, and I was curious to see how the movie turned out, just based on their
really?
performance as
I didn't know
directors.
that.
They were the directors of that film, and they got screwed over. I'm glad to see their work in Miss Marvel. I thought they did a great job in that. They've worked on a lot of TV shows prior to that, so you can definitely look up and see what their influence is. But fantastic directors, and they're working on new projects. I forget what their last announced project was, but if anything, I'm looking forward to what it is, and if they if there's a third movie that is being directed by them for Bad Boys. I'm interested in seeing where that's going to go as well. I'm looking at their information here right now. It looks like they worked on Snowfall, the TV show that's on FX, and of course
I've heard about that one. I haven't watched it though.
I've heard good things.
That's
about
one
that.
that's the crack cocaine one or something like that.
Yes, about cocaine, as well about the crack epidemic in the LA in the late 80s. Yeah. So yeah, it's about that, and a lot of good performances in that show. But yeah, from what I can see here, the unreleased movies are Batgirl from 2022 and Scalp from 2017. It's based on the comic book series, and maybe that'll come out eventually. But other than that, they've done some other movies, and did that movie called Rebel. I'm not sure who's in it. It looks like it's a foreign film from where they're from, so which is Morocco. So yeah, man, I'm thrilled at what their future is gonna hold, and how what projects they're gonna work on next. So props to them for keeping the flame burning for Bad Boys. I will say this though, I think if they are going to expand the franchise, aside from the spinoff idea that I had mentioned, I think this series is a perfect fit to cross over with Fast and Furious if they ever deign to give that a shot. Just for a film.
Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that.
It would not all the characters from Fast and the Furious. I would say have a crossover movie where they are still the main people in it, but then have maybe a few characters from Fast and the Furious that are there. They're after them at first, and then they have to work together. It's kind of like what the fifth movie was between Vin Diesel and The Rock in that film. Kind of do that here with that too, and have made them have a common enemy that they have to go after. In that movie.
They kind of do that with this movie. Is if you think about it, is like the Ammo team, which was like kind of the team that replaced Martin and Mike. Only like two of them come back, and because the Asian dude's not there, and I'll be honest with you, he was kind of a little, because he was like kind of like the anti Mike Lowry, or the younger version of it. And it's kind of good because I'm kind of glad they didn't bring him back, because I think it would have made it kind of stupid. I mean, I think you have to be careful on some of that stuff. And if you were ever to do a crossover with this, I think Fast and the Furious would be. I mean, if you did it where the Fast and the Furious crew is trying to do something in Miami and these guys are trying to stop it, I mean, that would be. If you could do a crossover, I think that's the best way of doing it.
And
But
I think it would help to revitalize the Fast and Furious franchise if they did that. And
because it's dead now. Yeah.
it's been killing itself. A correction from before. Shout out to Robert Bell in the chat. I misspoke when I said Catwoman. They directed the Batgirl movie from 2022
Batgirl.
that got shelved. Sorry, the Batgirl movie. They directed that. That's the movie that got shelved that they directed, and I looked forward to seeing it, and now I never will because it's locked in some vault somewhere. So props to Robert for that. Thank you very much. But yeah. That's pretty much all I got. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I mean, I think this is the rare example of going back to something that hadn't been there for a long time, and both of the movies have worked. Now, I will say, and we'll get to our ratings on this, and I don't remember our ratings on the other movie, but I felt like this movie was more enjoyable. Like I said, because it wasn't as dark.
Yeah,
the other movie was darker, and I think it was still a good movie, and I still thought it was good. But the problem with it is Bad Boys is not dark. It's like it's dealing with heavy shit, and it's dealing with people doing like nasty criminal crap, but it's never been a heavy movie. That one was a little bit more heavy with the whole like she's a witch and all this other stuff, and just like the whole like we were together. Then I mean, it was very difficult, and
never will to find out he has a son, and his son killed his boss. And you know what? I actually like the complexity of that, where he was so gung ho to go after that guy, and then to find out that's his son really complicates the issue. And then they deal with the fallout of that in this film, which makes this film better because of that. Which I love that. I love that.
Well, and I think that's the thing that makes it great is because the characters both grow.
Yes,
like Armando and Mike both grow on this, and then you have the whole situation of like Captain Howard's daughter hates this guy, and then her daughter is actually saved by him. And there is a point in the movie where even the granddaughter is sitting there going, like, he gets hurt saving her, and she's about to leave from this place that they're in there, and then she's like, wait, this guy just saved me, and he shouldn't have saved me. So she gets him, and then when they encounter her mom, and she's like, get away, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. She's like, no, he saved me. Like, I wouldn't
stood up for him. Exactly.
Yeah, and and even he gets the whole like weight of what he is. I thought that was good. I think that was where, because let's be honest, Bad Boys is not known for its drama, and I think for weaving that type of thing in, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. Yeah. And Sorbet's in this movie.
Yeah, he sure is.
He shows up at the first fight scene. He's a guy driving a Porsche for some reason. So he's old as hell looking, but
he is,
Sorbet.
Right. He's like, yo, babe, what happened?
God, it's like, damn.
Yo, Mike.
Like, they didn't put more makeup on you. It's like, you didn't have to draw your sunspots there. Buddy,
I actually believe the directors of this film also appear in this as well. I know that the person who officiated the wedding, I believe, is one of them. And then when they're at the club, and Mike is diagnosed with having a panic attack, the EMT that is in that scene.
That's the other guy?
Is the other director. Yeah, I want to say that's the both of them that make their appearances, because I've seen them many times before in interviews and whatnot, and I believe that's the two of them.
But I have to give it to them, because I think these guys are good because they understand what Bad Boys is. Mm-hmm. And it's, I mean, I'll be honest with you. People can sit there and say what they want about Michael Bay, but he's got some of the most damn entertaining movies that's on there. I mean, we will just tick off the things that he's done, and all of you will sit there and say, oh, whatever. But you know what? All of you watch them. We all watch them.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I'm not crazy about his writers, but his way he directs action, he's unfucking rivaled.
He is. I mean, there's nobody else that does that. And that rotating camera, and it makes it so believable, and it gives it such a sense of like you're in it. Like I don't know how they do it with that camera where you're watching it 2D and it feels like it's 3D and you're immersed in it. Like I feel like I'm actually in it. I mean, I will still sit there and say the greatest scene is that scene in the house when they're going after the Jamaicans in Bad Boys 2, and they just do that complete 360 through the bullet holes around everything, and it's just, I mean, it's so intense, and you're like, wow, I'm like part of this, but I'm not, am I? It's like, so yeah, I mean, you can say what you want, but that he has this thing, and you have to give it. And these guys, the directors on this, they knew it, and they sat there and said, this is what makes these movies great, because it's not just Mike and Marcus, and their whole, buddy cop thing. It's the thing. I mean, Bad Boys is Bad Boys, and I mean, it's them, it's the action, it's the music, because once again, the music is great in this. They even had a Reba McEntire cover of Bad Boys in this.
It's one of the best gags in the whole movie.
Exactly.
When there's about single Reba song, and they start trying to fucking pick their way through that shit, they're buying time. And then, as that scene is about to wrap up, they start playing Bad Boys, sung by Reba McEntire.
Exactly.
I fucking died.
Because they're like, prove it, you're a Reba fan, because they stole the clothes off these things. Prove it, you're a Reba fan, because they're like they're in front of two freaking hillbillies with a Confederate flag, and they're just like, prove it, you're a Reba fan. And it's like, wait, she actually sang that song.
As they're saying, she never sung Bad Boys, and then as soon as they say that, the fucking truck fires up, and that song starts playing. It's like, yo, props to Reba McEntire. That's fucking beautiful. That's so good. Yeah, this movie was a blast, man. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I think that's the thing about it. It's like, I'll be honest with you, this is the thing that's been missing in a lot of movies in like the last couple of years. I mean, it's just a fun movie.
Yes.
Like, it's almost like we can't have fun movies anymore. And, I sit there and I shit on things, and, it's like people go to me, it's like, Oppenheimer. Oh my God. I can't.
Wow. I love that movie.
I can't.
I see what you're saying.
It was the greatest movie ever, but I'm like, oh my God, it's just a long slog. It's like he blew up Japan, and they got another hour and a half, and they're sitting naked in chairs, and I'm like, what is this all about? I don't. Sometimes it's just good to have disconnect brain, just go with it. And this is a movie for it, and it's on Netflix. So you guys have Netflix, you can sit there and watch it. And I mean, it's what it is. And I think that is a mark of a good filmmaker too. If you have a source material and people are familiar with it, and you just give people the same feeling of what that source material is, I feel it's a success, and I feel this is a success. And so, anything else, Soul Bros, before we go into our ratings?
Nah, man, I've said all I need to say. If you haven't checked it out, by all means, man, it's fantastic.
So what do you think, Soul Bro? What is your rating?
I'm gonna give
Bad Boys Ride or Die.
I'm gonna give it a nice, even 4 Gatorlands out of 5, man. That fucking white ass Dukes, man.
Duke,
Dukes, because that place is definitely based on Gatorland in Kissimmee. So
yeah, exactly. It's actually based on the Gatorland down there, like right above Miami. There's like
shit.
There's another one that had Big Joe in it.
Wow.
God, I gotta check this now. I'm wondering if Big Joe is still there, because that was
from
the
there,
whole
so
thing of like,
you definitely know.
Yeah, that was like yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me see here. So I'm going to the internet. Oh yeah, yeah. The Everglades Wonder Gardens. That was Big Joe. Big Joe was. Oh, that's right. He was a crocodile. He wasn't an alligator. He was a crocodile in captivity. Because crocodiles. So yeah, Big Joe was 15.5 8.5 feet long, 1,200 pounds. So, yeah, he died in 2003. So, but I guess he's stuffed now. Yeah, Big Joe. I remember seeing Big Joe as a kid, and I'm like, what the fuck? And yeah, he was a crocodile. So that tells you how Florida is. It's all fucked up. They'll do anything for $1. It's like you have alligators all over the place, and they bring in a crocodile. But he was the same way. He was a white crocodile. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so wild. I guess that was definitely the influence for this. And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
makes you wonder, they actually filmed there or just modeled the place after that place. I mean, you've been there before, so if it looks familiar to you, maybe they just modeled it or.
Well, I watched the end of the credits, and
Yeah.
it's like it was filmed in Georgia. I saw Georgia, like Canada, and like Australia. Nothing with Florida. I'm like, so wherever it was filmed, it was filmed anywhere but Florida. I think whatever you see of Miami, it's just video shots, or they superimpose something. Like at the end when they're on the island and you see Miami in the background, the skyline. Yeah. I'm like, I don't think there's an island out there. And then I'm like, at the end, I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. There's no island out there.
Oh shit! I forgot to ask you. Did you see the post-credit scene?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I don't want to ruin it, but they reference it.
No, go ahead. I mean, spoiler alert.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's there's a post-credit scene in this movie of a conversation that both Mike and Martin had. Sorry, Mike and of course Martin's character have in the film, Marcus, and they reference the fact that Marcus believes they've been reincarnated as soulmates throughout time, and he mentions that there's a. When one of the earliest incarnations was back in the 300 something BC, when Marcus was a traveler in the Middle East or whatever, and he had a donkey that was basically Mike, his incarnation at the time, and he used to slap and beat him. It's referenced later
because when Martin comes, when he gets out of the coma from his heart attack, he talks about, I remember seeing you. You were a donkey in my life, and then they go through that whole thing where Martin is just like he's an Arab guy back in the day, and he's got a donkey, and then the donkey just says "fuck you, Marcus." Yeah, it's
so ridiculous. But what's your rating?
That's the way to do it. I'm gonna have to give it. 4.5. John Sally's out of 5 because I actually feel bad that John. I was like, oh shit, they just killed him. Like, because he's always been the best part. Since he's the best. Fuck you guys.
Then they ace him so quick. It's like, god damn it. Yo, another surprise death like that. I was so upset by that, man.
And the fact that they're so stupid, he's like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And they're like, what did Captain Howard give you? He's like, it's a beautiful thing. And he's like, his eyes are... he's
gesturing over the video so wall. Hard.
He's like, it's a beautiful thing. And they're like, what? And he's like, you guys are so fucking stupid.
Yo, dumb. Y'all the detectives for real?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely say for you guys to go out and watch this. I think it's a good fun movie, and it's what movies are supposed to be. Like some movies are supposed to be like, sad and dramatic and stuff like this. This is just supposed to be a good action movie of just dumb shit, and it delivers. It's not too long. 2 hours is perfect. I think that's the other thing I got to these directors. Like, you have to nail it on the time. Yeah. Like it's longer is not better, man. Like, it's not always better.
I think an action movie should be just short of 2 hours. An action movie should be about either 2 hours or just short of it. Like anytime between an hour 45 to 2 hours is the perfect length for an action film.
I think it makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because the action movie is always going to be short on fucking story, and unless it's Avengers Endgame. I mean, you can't do that.
That's the exception to the rule, of course. But yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's because that was a culmination of like what 19 movies before it. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely say go out and check this out. I think you guys will have some fun. No, it's not Bad Boys 2, but you know what is still the greatest of all the action adventure movies out there. So,
Absolutely.
So, bro, anything before we move out of here? You want to give them some of the places that they can reach us at?
Definitely. As mentioned before, MAHQ.net is the website. You, of course, the Mecha and Anime headquarters. Go there and keep up with us there. You can also go to gundam.podbean.com. I'm working on getting audio episodes back up again, so be on the lookout for updates for that.
Yeah, get those up.
Yeah,
Where you at? Where you at on that, so bro?
Since I moved all my stuff to a new computer, I'm just getting all the templates set up again, so I can just knock those out quick.
Perfect.
So be on the lookout for those. Mechatalk.net, of course, is the official forums of MAHQ in general. Find us on Facebook under the group MAHQ1. You can submit to join. And if anything, if you're cool, you'll get in. But you also can find us on social media. I don't use. I'm gonna be curbing my use of X quite soon. So find me and find the podcast.
Not Nazi Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, if you wanna follow us on social media, I'm gonna update this screen here very soon. But follow us on Blue Sky, which is Gundam.bsky. Or just search for Gundam, you'll find us. Our MAHQ.DOTNET to follow MAHQ. I'm also on there under Sober Ryu as well, so you can follow me. And Chris is on there under Siguanche as well. YouTube.com/GundamMAHQ is the website for our live stream. You can also watch us live over on Twitch.tv/FightersReady as well. Feel free to subscribe over there. Well, follow us on Twitch. Don't bother subscribing because that's a paid subscription. I don't really stream on there enough to get your money, but youtube.com/GundamMHQ, please subscribe there so that way you can keep up and be alerted when we're going to be doing updated streams. Other than that, man, again, the website for my book, Vermilion Royale, that's VERMILION ROYALE. You go there if you guys want to check it out and get the synopsis for support it. Yeah, support it, please, because I'm going to be doing big things about it next year. I'm trying not to start a Patreon. I'm just trying to go about the regular process of getting it recognized and hopefully printed eventually. So fingers crossed I can get that going, and your guys' input would be fantastic.
I want that producer credit. That's all I want.
Oh, I want.
So I can sit there and say, have you ever produced a Hollywood film?
I'm keeping my expectations realistic. I don't think I'll ever not have to work a day job, but if I can have another stream of income and doing something that I actually really enjoy, then that's the way to go. And maybe I can just spin off and actually writing for a living down the road for like other projects and stuff like that too, once getting recognized for the book. So it's a step-by-step process, and I've always had an affinity for writing and loved writing since I was a child, as Yazzie can tell you, with my first venture into writing a crossover between Voltron and Robotech when I was 8 years old, which that'll never see the light of day. I don't even know where that is, but if I found it, I'd probably burn it. But
no, man, if you find it, you have to release it. Like,
oh my god,
man, you were fucking 8 years old. Like, you're a dumb kid. Who cares? But that's where stuff like that's cool. No, I encourage you to, like, if you actually found that, release it. Why? I mean, who cares?
Yeah,
like, seriously.
Oh,
I mean, I think that's cool. I mean, believe me. Oh, a bunch of people that haven't done shit in their life are gonna sit there and tell you,
fair point. That is a fair point. Oh, but also, Yazzie, thank you for the anniversary wishes for Gundam. Yeah, it's our 17th year as of October the 7th.
Yeah, actually, October is when, or November is when we started, right?
No, it was October I want to say October the 7th or 11th. It's like early October,
Okay.
But we didn't mention it the last show because I had totally forgotten about it. But Yazzie, thank you for bringing that up.
Well, there's like two things with it, right? Because the first two episodes are just you and me.
Yeah.
And then Chris comes in after that. It's like... Yeah. It's a weird thing. It's like, okay, so Gundam actually started here, but then it really
It found its true form in November of that year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that its true anniversary is probably right now. So props to Yazi for reminding. Go ahead.
And that brings me up to a certain thing. I should have brought this up at the beginning, but speaking about things that went on forever and then some things eventually have to go away, I just have to give this shout out to the guys of the real Top Gear and eventually the Grand Tour, James May, Jeremy Clarkson, and Richard Hammond. They finally ended it a couple weeks ago. It was good, I have to say, because they went back to their original thing. And I mean, I find it great because, in this world that we're in now, that stuff always brought me laughter, and I find myself going back to it, watching on YouTube on clips and things like that. And for people like that to do something so inane and something that was just it touched at one point there were like 300 million people watching that a week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great stuff. I will always say that James May was the glue that held it all together, because he was the funniest.
Yes, he was.
He was the best. He was the best thing about it. I mean, I give it up to them. I'm sure they're not listening, and I'm sure they don't care. But it's like, I thought that was great, and it's sad to see things like that kind of go. I think they touched everybody's lives, and it was good stuff. So
if you want to keep up with Richard Hammond and James May, they have their respective YouTube channels.
And Jeremy Clarkson too. He's got his that Clarkson's Farm thing.
There you go. So
which is actually pretty funny with him trying to run a farm. So.
Yeah, it's so wild. But on YouTube, both James May and Richard Hammond have car-related channels, so you guys can check out that stuff if you want to keep. And they sometimes cross them over. So if anything, you'll still see stuff come out.
He was after a certain point, I was like, he is the guy that makes this work. It's like, Jeremy's great because he's bombastic, and Richard was great because he's just like the fan. But James was I was like, who makes a person like that? Like, honestly.
Captain Slow, baby. The best.
I mean, when he would just start talking about stuff, and they're like, oh, Jesus.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime trio that you'll probably never get again. But
it was amazing. It's good stuff. I mean, even when they went over to Amazon, I think the first year or two they were trying to find their thing, but then they realized it was like the big adventures was always the best thing, and it's amazing to see like three different people. And I think in some ways I see ourselves in that way too. We're three different people, but we have a common thing.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what kind of makes it work. And it's quirky and it's stupid, but I think that's a great thing to there too. So, so yeah, we'll be back in a few weweeks with another episode. So, bro, we'll have to figure that out. Well, Chris is going to be on his secret mission, and he'll be back, I think, in December, so we can do kind of I guess that's kind of our year-end thing, right? We always do like one big show at the end.
We do.
December, and we go on a long hiatus. So, we'll be back in a few weeks, and hit us up on everything that Silver mentioned. So we'll be back. Thank you.